Welcome back, Duplicant folks. I'm Gaming Dead, and this is my oxygen not included base for Rocketry Upgrade. So, a new space industry upgrade is now available, and I'm back from my holidays, so I wanted to show you the base that I've built over the last couple of weeks. Unlike the previous one, this time I was actually rushing towards oxygen or exosuit docks, which means I didn't get so many sick people, and so I didn't need that big of a medical ward. I still built one because I had a few people getting heat stroke from a cool steam vent that produces 110 degrees steam that turns into water. So I had this quite early from the start. People were worried that it would heat up my base. It didn't happen all that much. I wasn't worried. So yeah, I had this one and produced water. I went away from spawn designs. I tried some basic electrolyzer and 2 pumps. It doesn't work very well, but it works well enough, and some cooling. Then I built this one from online. I found I like this one a lot better. It doesn't have cooling because this one produces oxygen towards my docks, and they don't need cool oxygen, so just that. The cool part about this space, I have 14 dupes. I didn't build large enough great hall. That was my mistake. But the cool part about this one is, well, multiple things. One, the toilets and the sinks are on a closed loop. So if we look here, they go all the way up here. Outside the base, there's a water sieve that cleans the water, puts it back in, and the clean water comes in and can be used again. However, when building this one, you have to be careful because the toilets produce more water than they use up, which means eventually this will back up and everything will stop working. So to prevent that, I've built a little gas bridge, so the polluted water goes over the bridge first. If it cannot, then it goes up here into my reed farm. I only needed a few for the to make the exosuits, so I just built 2. There we go. Another thing is my stables. I decided to, unlike the previous one where I wanted to keep every hatch possible, I just wanted to have I think sage hatches and smooth hatches to refine metal. So yeah, I just built 2. Turns out you can build on doors, and it works fine. These are hooked up using automation to a clock timer that once a night drops, opens the doors, and the eggs drop. That prevents eggs from hatching here and prevents people from being overcrowded or hatches. The eggs drop into this kind of hatchery space where they kind of hatch naturally on their own, and all the little hatches grow up. And since I want max 0 creatures here, once they grow up, they're being moved to here, which is my kill room. Again, some water, some doors, a clock timer with a decent amount of set, and a locked door to prevent people from coming in when the water is up high and removing the water. Sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes the hatches escape. I think they drop them on the way when the doors get locked, but we can wrangle them. They're gonna be put here and they're gonna die. It doesn't work on Dracos, and it doesn't work on the flying creatures, but oh well, works well enough. This was my main farm. I moved on quickly to just barbecue and pepper. Actually, I yeah, pepper bread with pinch of peppers. They're the best possible meal, and why not? I had enough food from these. My drakes farm to produce plastics. This was my main kind of power setup, where I just built transformers and all the wires coming out of it. So, what else do we have? This was my kind of industry area. I needed to build some steel. I needed to build some glass because what I wanted to do was to fly into space, and you needed to have this telescope. Everything's broken here now. You needed to have telescope to research some of the research, and you needed bunkers to prevent meteors from destroying everything. And eventually I managed to build a rocket. I actually flew into space once and then removed some pieces to make a bigger rocket, but that is all done now. Now there's more than just engine or different kinds of engines, and there's extra research to be done in space. So I'm going to be playing around with that next time. I discovered this one but didn't manage to go up. There are some vents. I didn't have a whole lot of what do you call it, gas vent, or not gas vent, but metal volcano. I did have 3 of these nullifiers. I didn't use them much. I didn't have any. There's another one here buried. I didn't even open it up. This was a problem. So I wanted to grow sleetweed, and I thought, hey, here's carbon dioxide geyser. It produces carbon dioxide at minus 50 degrees. It's gonna cool down perfectly. However, it didn't. It never got working very well. So my natural gas, and instead of building a storage unit with these high pressure gas vents, I decided to utilize these new containers. Every time one of them would be filled up, I built another one and kind of hooked up and snaked it around. That works pretty well, I think. If I needed, I could have kind of cut it off and put natural gas in here as well. I started building on these what do you call it, transit tubes, and they work quite nice, but I didn't manage to, there we go, didn't manage to finish much. I didn't, things I learned from Reddit or somewhere else, is you can actually, so I didn't have a problem with exosuits being left and right, because apparently there is a clearance status that's vacancy only, and if vacancy only is set, they will only come through this lock or checkpoint if there's a space for their exosuit. So if there isn't, they will go around to the other one, which is really, really nice. I started, here's my oil, and I started building a kind of place to grow slicksters, but I didn't finish that. Here's an experiment that I tried doing. Was to clean polluted oxygen. There's a hot polluted oxygen vent at 500 degrees. To clean it using the cooling I had here. So the polluted oxygen turns to liquid oxygen at minus 183. And I thought, hey, let's cool it down, pump it up, put it here, and then suck it up. Didn't work very well. Here I was digging into fossils, which is another kind of material that is needed for making steel or lime. Yeah, it kind of worked. And I think that's about it. I started building, trying to use, there's hydrogen vent hiding here, but I didn't have much problems with hydrogens. So the good part is I didn't use all that much water. I had to dip into this water geyser, which produces quite hot water, but wasn't much of a problem at that point. I didn't have to dip too much into water. The initial 3 water pockets lasted me a good while because I used this closed circuit. I had this water for my oxygen production, so it wasn't much of a big deal. Things I would try out different next time. I don't know, maybe plan this one a little bit better, make a bigger great hall, have more hatches. I like this one. I like this this design where it drops and they can grow. So maybe plan this one slightly better. But yeah, that's my base. We were training an astronaut. That's my base, and I hope you enjoyed it. I had fun. Now on to the space industry. Bye bye.
Give me that.